Finally, right? The video is here. My Fidel Castro video is here, y'all. I'm so sorry I took so long. A bitch is a perfectionist, and I take a long time to do things that I really care about. But I just want to give a big a hooroo to Fidel Castro, and I just want to appreciate everyone. I've gotten so many messages on Facebook, Twitter, email, Instagram that have been asking me, Ghazi, where's this video? Where's this video? Where's this video? My YouTube comments, Ghazi, the Castro video, where's the Castro video? Well, it's finally here, y'all. Here, you about to have it. You about to have it. Let me adjust the camera. You about to get it. And you already see what the t-shirts say. You already see what the t-shirts say, okay? Revolution is not a bed of roses, okay? It is a struggle, okay? It's a struggle against the past and the future. Okay, let's get to it. First and foremost, can we get to the jugular real quick? Can we get to the jugular? Because I've been seeing a lot of slander against Fidel Castro. And just so I can be clear at the beginning of this video, let me state my statement. Fidel Castro and Cuba are the only friends Africa has ever known. And a big uhuru to Comrade Fidel Castro. Rest in power, rest in freedom. Uhuru Fidel motherfucking Castro. Okay, done, said it. So I've heard so much slanderous stuff being said by Fidel Castro by sellouts, and mostly by Cuban sellouts. And Cuban sellouts come in multiple colors, y'all. They like Skittles, girl. They like Skittles. You have your white Cuban sellouts, you have your indigenous Cuban sellouts, you have your Asian Cuban sellouts, you have your black Cuban sellouts, okay? And they're all in freaking Miami for some reason. And if you go and you ask them, why do you not like Fidel? They'll say 3 motherfreaking things. One thing they'll say is, Fidel was racist, Fidel was racist, Ghazi, Fidel was racist. Or they'll be like, Fidel killed my uncle. He killed my uncle. Apparently Fidel was killing uncles left and motherfreaking right. Fidel is an uncle killer, because you ask any Cuban in Miami about Fidel Castro, they'd be like, Fidel killed my uncle. Like, dang girl, how many uncles is Fidel killing? And then they also say that Fidel was anti-LGBT. He was anti-LGBT. So let me break that down. That comes from a story about a farm in Cuba that was ran by the gays, and the gays there were being abused by the military. Let me tell you what had happened was, when Fidel put the homosexuals to run these farms, he put the homosexuals to run these farms because Cuba was still very homophobic, okay? And put them in this position to farm, to show the people, these are good people, they're just like you and me, and they are feeding you. Calm the fuck down, right? But what happened was the soldiers that were there to defend those farms actually started to abuse those same gender-loving people, those homosexual people, and started to oppress them. When Fidel did a tour of the farms and saw this oppression, he shut down the farms and he sent those soldiers to prison, okay? And wrote a self-criticism that you can find anywhere online about his unity with the liberation of all Cubans, no matter their gender or sexual preference. And to even make that more in your mother face, okay? Cuba, to my knowledge, is the first nation to give free sex reassignment surgeries to transgenders. So while we're over here in America, not even letting transgender people use the bathrooms they want to use, okay? Cuba is light years ahead and giving them free sexual reassignment surgery, okay? And that is a huge thing, especially to poor working class African trans people that can't afford top of the dollar surgeries and that can't afford to fly to Bangladesh and get surgeries, okay? They are forced into positions, into dirty apartments and hoods where these people botch them up, destroy their bodies, put poison in their bodies, and kill them just because they're just trying to transition. That's another story. Now, let's go and talk about the racism, Ghazi, the racism. Let me tell you why African people unite and uphold Fidel Castro so highly. Because a lot of these petty boos want to say, oh, y'all don't know much about Fidel, you just listen to his speeches. I don't know nan nigga that know a Fidel speech. We know his actions and judge him by his actions. One of his actions being that Fidel fought in Grenada, where both of my grandfathers are from. In Grenada, fought for the liberation of Grenada against the U.S. invasion, fought to build an airport in Grenada to stop the resource famine that was being created by the CIA to suffer Grenada, okay? That is Fidel Castro. That is Cuba, okay? First and foremost. Also, sent soldiers and assistants to liberate over 15 African nations, including Grenada, including Ethiopia, Angola, and Guinea-Bissau. Okay? Also, Fidel Castro sent 165 doctors to West Africa when the Ebola crisis was happening, and has a history of sending thousands of doctors to Africa for different crises, including HIV and malaria. Okay, Cuba has been a friend to motherfucking Africa. Fidel Castro has been a friend to motherfucking Africa. Fidel Castro sent Che Guevara, his best general, to the Congo to liberate the African people that were fighting imperialism there. Fidel Castro and Cuba liberated Guinea-Bissau against the imperialist white power Portugal, okay? So you want to talk about racism? Let's talk about it. Okay? Fidel Castro's government has African people in the government, has African people being doctors and scientists and all of these other things, and being self-determining people in Cuba. And any racism that African people face or anti-blackness that they face in Cuba is only because African people in Africa are not free. Until Africa is free and African people have the power to be a self-determining people, then we will always be subject to the ideas and the actions of people. But we have to fight for power, and we have to liberate Africa. And until that, African people will continue to catch hell everywhere around this world. Fidel Castro in Cuba sent 500,000 soldiers to Angola to fight to liberate Angola from imperialism and neocolonialism. He sent 500,000 soldiers. Not only that, they spent 30 years fighting in Angola. 30 years. Not only that, after those 30 years and more than 30,000 deaths of soldiers, Cuba did not take one resource out of Africa. Not one. America can't say that. The UK can't say that. China can't say that. But Cuba can say that. The only thing Fidel took out of Africa was what he said he was going to take out of Africa, which was the bodies of his soldiers. And that's exactly what he did. Africa has known no friends but Cuba. Africa has known no friends but Cuba. Okay, it didn't take one resource. Any contradiction that anyone wants to raise of Fidel Castro, you need to center. Why did he have to be a revolutionary in the first place? Because of U.S. imperialism, because of colonialism. So where is imperialism in this? Where is your deep criticism of the United States of America that forces capitalism on this world, that is a world superpower that forces the oppression of African and colonized people around this world, and that is why 80% of the people on this planet do not have access to clean water, because of capitalism that was born from imperialism and colonialism and the slavery of African people. Okay, when Fidel Castro sent soldiers and fought in Angola, do you know the Soviet Union told him not to do that? Do you know the Soviet Union told him not to do that, girl? Do you know how big that is, girl? Cuba is a small island, only a spit shot away from from the world superpower, the world white imperialist, colonialist, capitalist superpower. So their ally, Soviet Union, was their only superpower ally. And they said no to this ally, the Soviet Union, who gave them arms and resources and defended them against the U.S. They said, no, we are going to fight to liberate Africa, even though the Soviet Union told them not to. They did that because Fidel Castro was an internationalist and struggled to be on the right side of the question. Okay? And then I saw this article that said, well, y'all have to give nuance and tell the whole story about Fidel because he had contradictions just like Thomas Jefferson and George Bush and No. There's no such thing as leaders in general, okay? You have imperialist leaders, colonialist leaders, leaders that rule a nation that is built on slavery and built on the genocide of indigenous people and that have done nothing from the existence of America but to be a leech on the backs of Africans and indigenous people around the world. And then you have Fidel Castro, a leader of the revolution, a leader of the oppressed, a leader of the poor and working class, a leader of colonized people, fighting against imperialism, fighting against oppression, fighting against colonialism, fighting against white power. There's a difference. Anything and everything an imperialist leader does is wrong. Of course, there's contradictions and criticisms you can raise of anyone on this planet, but nothing deeper than the imperialist. Nothing deeper than the imperialist. So don't give me no shit about how much you fucking love Obama, but you ready to criticize Fidel Castro. Don't give me no shit about I just saw on your motherfucking Twitter you want to highlight that Michelle Obama had natural hair, but she didn't say shit about African women being pushed into prisons. She didn't say shit about Sandra Bland. She didn't say shit about none of that shit, but you want to back them up. But if you black, you all right, because all kinfolk, right? But you want to have a sharp criticism for Fidel Castro. Don't say shit about Fidel Castro, who gave Assata Shakur, a black revolutionary woman, asylum. And you can't say shit about Barack Obama, who lets African revolutionaries rot in prison today. Shout out to Mumia Abu Jamal. Don't say shit about Fidel Castro, who protected Assata Shakur and said that she is not compromisable when the United States of America came to Cuba. That she is not on the compromise. She's not on the table to compromise. But you gonna talk about, you gonna highlight Obama, who put a $2 million bounty on her head, dead or alive? Take that liberal shit somewhere else. Take that sellout shit somewhere else. Take it somewhere else. You have to know what side you stand on. And Cuba is the only non-African nation that has fought for the liberation of African people. The only. Only one. Only one. So Cuba doesn't have to defend itself against U.S. imperialists. It doesn't. And if your uncle died, he deserved it. Most likely. 99.9% of the time. They had tribunals, y'all. And when the people want blood, the people want blood. The tribunals, they were killing rapists. They were killing slumlords. They were killing oppressive bosses. They were killing child pedophiles. They wanted it gone. That's what a tribunal is about, y'all. So ask yourself, are you on the right side of the question? Because when the revolution comes, we're going to draw a line. And any attack on Fidel Castro is an attack on a beacon. Fidel Castro and Cuba is a beacon of light that says the revolution can be won. This is a small, tiny island that fought against the world's superpowers and won. They tried to kill him over 600 times and it didn't work. So now they want to slander his name. Now they want to let all these petty bourgeoisie Cubans have a voice and go to the UN and Time Magazine and the White House and talk negative about Fidel Castro. Because they want to make sure that another Fidel doesn't rise up. The same reason they talk about Malcolm, because they don't want to see another one rise up. The same reason they talk about Assata Shakur, because they don't want another one to rise up. The same reason why they talk about Marcus Garvey, Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, because they don't want another one to rise up. Well, we rising up and we are here. I'm here. And I have more hope in my heart because of Fidel Castro. He died in his 90s. And so will I, bitch. U.S. imperialism will not get me. Okay? All right, y'all. Uhuru, we are winning. I unite with the fight of Fidel Castro in a free world. We have to have a free socialist world, you guys. This is the same shit they do about the Vietnamese, and they try to attack Ho Chi Minh because they do not want to see another generation of revolutionaries. But we are already here, and we coming for that capitalist ass, y'all. Uhuru, check that melanin, and I'm making a video. I make videos every day, Monday through Friday. So if you're seeing this on your Facebook or your YouTube, most of my videos go to Facebook anyways. But yeah, anyways, links to the bottom to follow me on my other social media stuff. Uhuru. Uhuru, Fidel Castro, rest in power, rest in freedom. They didn't get you, nigga. Yes.